Hi, everyone. I'm Pake. I'm the Hunter Education Coordinator for the Department of Wildlife. We're going to talk about the upcoming deer season here with our big game biologist, Dallas Barber.
Yeah, hey man, thanks for having me. I appreciate you, inviting me to come on and talk a little bit about deer hunting today.
Well, I appreciate it.
You bet.
Well, before we get into the upcoming season, let's get into last year's numbers.
Yeah, so we had a phenomenal year last year. A little over 128,000 deer harvested, which is kind of right where we've been, kind of a sweet spot here over the last couple of years. The most impressive kind of feat or number that we have is 48% of our overall harvest was made up of antlerless deer, which is kind of right in the sweet spot for where we want to be. More to kind of promote a healthier buck-to-doe ratio across most of the state and ensure for a healthy deer herd.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think that's something that we've been pushing for a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a kind of mantra of ours here for the last almost decade now, I'd say, is, hunters in the know take a doe. And that's something, we make recommendations. Our hunters are really the boots on the ground kind of managers for our deer herds. Mm-hmm. So we make recommendations to them, be it through messaging, be it through different, rules, regulations, season dates, limits, things like that to promote antlerless harvest. And our hunters have really kind of taken that by the reins and done a great job at it.
Awesome. Well, what are some of the positives of managing doe harvest like that?
Yeah, so there's a ton of benefits. Obviously, just managing for overall numbers across pieces of property, keeping healthy buck-to-doe ratios. But, one of the big ones that people don't really take a grasp of is making it as much available nutrition on your piece of property as you can, because you have less mouths to feed. So in a roundabout way, the less mouths that you have to feed, compared to areas that are overpopulated, you're going to end up with better antler development, because bucks now have more availability to some of that high quality nutrition, which then translates into antler growth.
Awesome. Does it have any effect on rut activity?
Yeah, so it can actually take your rut activity and, make it more intense and shorten it. So whenever you have a good buck-to-doe ratio, and we can cover a little bit of that, a lot of the magazines or things that you've read in the past have said, like, a 1-to-1 ratio is ideal. Mm-hmm. That is ideal, but it's not practical, and it's not possible in a free-range deer herd. So that 4-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio is really something that's achievable across most of the landscape, but that's kind of where you want to be with that. What happens is, as you have less does on the property, all of those does will kind of come into estrus all at the same time, which makes that rut a lot more condensed, a lot more tight, which provides an awesome hunting experience, because it's all happening all at once. But B, it really goes towards better health for your bucks, because they're not having to run and chase does from November till February. So that, leads them into antler development later that spring and summer in a lot better shape overall. So, the first thing they're having to do is recoup all that energy spent just to get their body back in good shape. So instead of having to do that, they can put a lot more of that good green up that happens in the spring, and take a lot of that nutrition and put it towards antler growth instead of putting it towards, repairing their body from a long, extended rut period.
Cool. So yeah, from what I'm kind of hearing, is it's not just a population management technique. It's better for your rut activity. It's a lot better for your antler growth. You wind up having better deer.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all connected at the end of the day. So that's something that we've really, kind of not necessarily harped on, but definitely promoted with our hunters. And boy, they have really taken hold with it. And you can see the results of that, not only in overall antlerless harvest, but just some of the awesome bucks that are being harvested across the state.
Fantastic. Let's talk about, we can touch on it, the CWD zone.
Yeah. So we did have one additional positive come up over the summer. It was a sick deer that, we follow the same protocol for all of our sick deer reports that we get. That deer was exhibiting some symptoms of CWD. The difficult part about CWD is that those same symptoms that they're exhibiting with chronic wasting disease, so extreme emaciation, loss of fear of humans, not really acting like a deer would be the best way to describe it. Those are also symptoms of a lot of things that are a lot more common. Something as simple as a broken tooth can cause some of those same symptoms. But that deer was exhibiting those symptoms. Went through our protocol of basically sampling that deer. It did come back positive. This is about 2.5 miles north of the Texas border, straight south of Guyman. So essentially, we just expanded some of those select surveillance areas, which just limit some movement of high-risk parts out of that zone. That's to try to minimize the human spread of chronic wasting disease. We understand that animals are going to walk. They don't understand where those zones are, right? But what we're trying to prevent is somebody harvesting a deer in that area, driving it all the way back to eastern Oklahoma or wherever they may be from, processing that deer and throwing those parts out, on the back 40. So that's the purpose of those. With those SSAs, we also have 3 new drop-off freezers that we've put out there. That's going to allow people to have their deer tested if they choose to do so. It's 100% voluntary. We've got one at the Guyman Police Department. We've got one at the Goodwell Fire Department, and we've got one at the Texoma Fire Department. So super simple process there. All the instructions are on the freezer. Usually test results, depending on when that deer's dropped off, anywhere from just a week or so to up to 5 weeks. Unfortunately, that's kind of the bottleneck there. There's only a handful of accredited labs that are available to test those samples. So as season progresses, those labs kind of get backed up, but quick enough to where, I recommend that people don't fully process their deer if they're going to have it tested. Just quarter it up and then backstraps and tenderloins, scrap meat, store that where and if you can, and then wait for those test results to come back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's last season. Let's talk about this upcoming season. How are we looking?
Things are shaping up well. I mean, we've been blessed with rain, which is sometimes in some spots maybe a little too much rain, but habitat's looking great. We've had a really green summer and a mild summer, which is good. Habitat across most of the state is in really great shape. So those fawns have had plenty of cover. Mom's had plenty of food to where a lot of our deer are going to be going into winter in really good shape. Along with that, antler development is going to also be, better than normal. I'm starting to see a lot of that with people showing me pictures saying, hey man, check this out. Look at this deer. So things are looking good. Obviously, weather-wise, we don't really know what we're facing yet. We're still kind of a little too far out. Looks like it might be a little warm and windy for opener, for that archery opener, but that's kind of run-of-the-mill for us here in Oklahoma. A lot of people are going to be shorts and T-shirt, tree stand weather for some. So we'll see how it goes. But, I think that we're shaping up for another good season.
Cool. What does a successful late season look like for you?
A successful late season?
Or just successful season?
Oh, I think that as long as we are still continuing to be mindful of antlerless harvest, if we can still nail that kind of 40 to 45, if not a little bit more % total harvest for our antlerless deer, we'll be in good shape. Overall numbers wise, as long as we're kind of staying within that trend line that we've been on, I think we'll be in a good spot. So I think, hunters have just got to take that mindset of I'm the manager of this piece of property that I'm hunting, whether it be public, private, club, whatever it is that you're on. You're the boots on the ground. Every arrow that you shoot, every bullet that you shoot, that's a management decision. So focusing on antlerless harvest and then focusing on just letting some of those young bucks grow up to maturity, I think will lead to a great season.
Well, awesome. Is there anything else you want to mention? Or you think you got it all?
I think we nailed it, man. I just want to say thanks to all of our hunters for really grabbing it by the reins and taking into consideration all the recommendations that we make, and just wish that everybody take somebody new and have a great deer season.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Dallas. Appreciate you coming out and talking to us today. Like I said at the beginning, I'm Pake. I'm the Hunter Education Coordinator. If you want to find out some more information, I have a Learn to Hunt podcast series here on YouTube that I'd love for you to check out. A lot of great information over there. So thanks for coming out.